Hi, my name is Gleb. In this tutorial, I will show you how to build your Unity game for smartwatches so you can publish it on Google Play. My solution requires only Unity, so you don't need to use Android Studio as you may find in other guides. And to prove my words, here's my game available for Android and WearOS devices. It's free, without ads, and available on Google Play. I hope my explanation is simple, but you can imagine how hard it was to research, assemble and test it, so make sure you hit the like button.
A quick summary of the whole tutorial. In short, you need to edit your manifest by adding one string. If your game requires a right swipe, you could also face a problem that it just closes your app. For this, add a file that I published both on GitHub and Unity Asset Store near your manifest, and modify this name to Gleb fix right swipe. For publishing, make sure you follow guidelines for WearOS apps, like making a splash screen with your icon first, mentioning WearOS in your description, and making sure that all of your elements are perfectly adjusted to round screens. And with all of this, you will be able to publish your smartwatch game and be one of the few fellows who made a Unity game for WearOS.
Another perfect place to check your like button, and let's go to more detailed steps.
Step 0. What you should already have. Let's assume that you know how to publish on Google Play, for Android, and specifically that you already have at least an internal testing for smartphones, and that you somehow adjusted your UI to tiny screens of smartwatches, and don't forget that most of their watches have round screens. Also, I will not talk about optimization, but remember that it is the key to a good game. Step 1. Internal testing in Google Play Console. To create a build that will be accepted by Google Play Console for WearOS, we only need to add one line to the manifest. If you don't know, the manifest is an XML file that contains some metadata about your app. You can have it custom by checking this in your project setting, and the manifest is located in Assets, Plugins, Android. Now, build your .aab file and go to the Play console. Go to the internal testing for your game. In the header of the page, you will find a drop list where probably phones and other stuff are currently selected. Change it to WearOS only. That's it. Now you only need to create a new release as you usually do. Step 2. Additional manifest adjustments. If you have a standalone game that is meant to work directly on watch, I would recommend adding these lines as well. This will tell Google Play that your game doesn't need a smartphone-paired app, while many WearOS apps actually do need one. In the theory, it should help to promote your game on the Google Store, but no guarantees. Step 3. Fixing the right swipe. When you test your internal version from the Play Store, you may find a bug that your game closes when you do the right swipe.
It's because by default, WearOS has it as a feature, not a bug.
It's a feature, not a bug.
We will disable this by doing some pure magic.
Download the .aar file that I shared on my GitHub and Unity Asset Store. Place it where your Android manifest is. Then, comment this string and replace it with this instead. You can also just download an example template for manifests, which I also shared. You will find two versions, one for WearOS and one for Android.
Just remember to delete the prefix when you will copy them.
Step 4. Following WearOS guidelines. After you test your game for some time, ensure that your game follows very strict rules and recommendations for WearOS. The following topics I needed to fix to get published on Google Play. Splash screen. You need to have one that follows the guidelines. Usually, it's done by editing styles and Android project settings, but since we need an Android Studio for that, let's use the built-in Unity solution. Create a splash screen with your round icon on a black background that follows these exact proportions. Then, just enable splash screens in Player Settings, Player, Splash Image, and add our image to icon list. Change it to all sequential, disable scaling animation, place our image on top and set the duration to 4 seconds. Then you can click Preview, and on your game window you will see it. As you see, for this project I work on a free version of Unity 5, so I have a mandatory made on Unity splash screen, but it still was accepted for publishing. Another topic is, you need to mention WearOS in your short description. I've added it like for WearOS and Android. I found it has the least amount of symbols, but still sounds human. And also you can add something to the long description, the only thing that I don't know how to read it from the watch. Text and element adjustment. My several first submission attempts got rejected because a part of a first and last letter was obscured by a screen edge. Just make sure that you have a safe gap around your screen.
That's it, the version for WearOS devices is ready.
The only problem you still have to face is that this .aab file doesn't work for general Android smartphones anymore. This is due to some WearOS specific features that we are using now. To undo it and build for phones, simply comment out all of the lines we added.
Note that to do a comment in an XML file you need to write this, or you can open it with like VS Code and press Ctrl/.
And also you may need to hide a .aar file that you just downloaded from my GitHub. For example, now I'm just deleting all files in the Android folder, placing one that I need and removing prefix from the manifest file name.
I hope you like this tutorial, give this video a like, leave a comment, and feel free to send my share of your very successful smartwatch game on Buy Me a Coffee.
Extra 1. General Unity to WearOS devnotes. To adjust my UI to a round screen, I have created a panel with a round hole as a mask. Don't forget to disable raycast target, and don't forget to disable it after you finish the layout adjustment. If you need, the mask image is also available in the GitHub page or in the sprite folder in my asset. I found very satisfying to curve elements around round screen, rather than just scaling it all to an inscribed square. By that I mean changing sprites and breaking elements into smaller parts to gradually go around curve. It not only allows you to use the 22% of difference between circle and an inscribed square, but also just add a true charm to your design. Before discovering that apparently only Apple Watches are square, while most of the WearOS devices are round, I was adjusting my UI and other gameplay elements only to a square screen. So in the end I have two setups, but I failed to find how to detect the shape of screen. In my game, by default it's round, and I left a button in the settings to toggle it to square. So remember to share the solution if you will find a way to detect it by script. And I also added real time to my main game screen. While testing it in a train, I found that I really want to keep track of time, and that actually many WearOS apps do show time. So please also consider keeping the main purpose of smartwatches while using your game. Extra 2. Explaining right scroll fix. If you want to become a qualified magician too, by making a .aar file by yourself, then here's this. .aar file is actually just a bundle file that contains resources, specifically in our case a styles.xml file. A usual way to place such files would be Android RES values in your Unity project. But if you do so, Unity will tell you to go and create an .aar file. To create it, install Android Studio and follow the tutorials that Unity quotes.
You will probably face a lot of problems during this, but when you will solve them all,
just place this into the styles.xml file. Of course, you can change Gleb to your name, since you are fixing it on your own now. And feel free to add something else to the file to address other issues. Just remember to share your discover in the comments.
Gleb, the Polish citizen out, stay strong.